A young soldier deserted Napoleon's army and was caught within a couple of hours. The punishment for the act was death. The young soldier's mother pleaded with Napoleon for mercy. Napoleon told her that on account of the severity of the offense, her son did not deserve mercy. She responded, "I know, Your Excellency, he doesn't deserve mercy. It wouldn't be mercy if he deserved it." Dear friends in Christ, we all deserve justice, but it is the mercy of God that has freed us. It is the mercy of God that is sustaining us. Similarly, in our gospel reading today, it reveals the boundless mercy of God. Last Sunday, we saw the compassionate and merciful Father who welcomed back his son after living a life of sin. This to show us how boundless God's mercy is to us, that no matter the gravity of our offense, no matter how ugly our past may be, when we examine our consciences and return back to God, our loving Father is willing to welcome us back and to restore back our dignity as his sons and daughters. The scribes and Pharisees brought before Jesus a woman caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now the question is, where is the man? If she was caught in the very act, then where is the man? Probably he was a Pharisee like them, or he outsmarted them and ran away. But that is not the question. They brought this woman and placed her before Jesus and then put a question to him. Moses commanded us in the law to stone such women like this to death. What do you say? Intending to trap Jesus. If he upheld the Mosaic law that required her execution, he would violate Roman law. If he opposed the Mosaic law, he would appear to disregard God's commandments of love. Jesus bent down and started writing. Why the content of his writing remains a mystery, the act itself speaks volumes. It provided him with a moment of reflection, a space to consider the situation beyond the immediate pressure that was on him. Even Jesus, in his divine nature, modeled for us the importance of thoughtful consideration before any action is taken, regardless of our confidence or perceived certainty. The scribes and Pharisees sought a spontaneous reaction from Jesus, but Jesus demonstrated the power of principled reflection. Instead, Jesus turned the situation back on them. If there is any who have not sinned, let him be the first to cast a stone on her. Jesus did not say, if there is any who have not committed adultery, let him be the first to stone her. Rather, he said, if there is any who have not committed sin, Dear friends in Christ, sometimes we act like the scribes and the Pharisees. We consider ourselves better than others because we have not taken their way of life, or we have not committed the sin they committed. Each of us have sinned, and we do not deserve the mercy of God. But because of the loving nature of our Father, He has given that mercy. He has shown His mercy to each and every one of us. So we are sinners before God. If we are sinners before God, then we need to be merciful to others, because it is God's mercy that is sustaining each and every one of us. And then Jesus bent down and continued writing. I could imagine the scribes and the Pharisees stretching their necks to see what exactly Jesus was writing. Probably their sins, their ages, and the gravity of their sins. When they realized that each of them is not even worthy to stand before the merciful Jesus, they turned and went away. Because after examining their consciences, they all realized that they have sinned in one way or the other, and no one dares to cast a stone on the woman. The Pharisees were quick at judging and condemning this woman without examining their conscience. And that was why they brought her before Jesus. First, to trap him, and then secondly, to condemn her. She was brought to the public for ultimate shame and disgrace, dragged to be stoned with no one to stand for her. But Jesus turned the table on her accusers by suggesting that they look at their own sins. Pope John Paul II says that the greatest weakness of the world today is lack of mercy. He observed that the pursuit of justice in the strict sense is not enough for a humane or a good society. A bishop once told the prisoners, "We are all criminals. The only difference is that I have not been caught. We are all sinners, like this adulterous woman. The only difference is that we have not been merited justice." Archbishop Fountain Sheen warned that denying sin is more dangerous than sin itself. The church, dear friends, must always be a place of mercy, freely given, freely received, where everyone can feel welcome, loved, and encouraged to live the good life of the gospel without condemnation from the other. In a world where everyone is a sinner, blame game, pointing accusing finger solves nothing. So let us embrace the role of fault menders and not fault finders. For the best way to dispel darkness is not by causing it, but by lighting a candle. As the future lies before us, dear friends, we are all potential saints. Let us not look so hard on people's past. They may not be living there anymore. Instead of throwing the first stone, let us throw compassion and love on them. Remove sin from our lives. We need to be fountains of mercy and compassion, not throwing stones, but spraying mercy. As the Holy Week approaches, we must abandon our old ways and embrace a new way of life. A life with God, leading others to a renewed life in Christ. A priest who was pulled over by a police officer for breaking the traffic. As the officer was about to write the ticket, the priest said to him, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." Then the police officer handed the priest the ticket and said to him, "Father, go and sin no more." Dear friends in Christ, as we have come before God, our loving Father and merciful God, to receive his warmth, let us spread his love and show mercy to others. And as we approach his throne of mercy in the sacraments of reconciliation, let us feel welcome. And after our experience of God's loving mercy, let us go and sin no more.